thing that I've discovered, no matter where in the world I've been, no matter who I've spoken to, no matter which workplace it is, it feels to me as though everyone walking this earth's surface just wants a non-judgmental witness to their experience, whatever that.
Hello, welcome once more for another Wellthy conversation. And today I've got the amazing Hermien Elago from Namibia, and she's going to be sharing her insights, the good, the bad, and the ugly, around employee well-being and psychological safety, and perhaps even a little bit of a story that led her to specializing in this field within corporate. So Hermien, thank you so much for your time. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Tim. I'm really excited to be speaking to you about, I think, the one thing that sets my heart on fire, and that is human beings.
Oh, wow. Why do they set your heart on fire? They annoy me most of the times. I prefer dogs.
Because I think the one thing that I have just come to discover is that firstly, we are hardwired for connection. We are hardwired for belonging. And that we form our networks, whether it be family, friendships, and even workplace connections, for that one reason, so that we feel like we belong, that we feel that we're seen. Excuse me, Tim, that we're heard, and ultimately that we matter. I think throughout the course of my work and over the past few years, I think I've narrowed down. It feels to me as though everyone walking this earth's surface just wants a non-judgmental witness to their experience, whatever that
Oh, I like that.
experience is.
So,
And yes, and so as a result, I think I really moved from initially when it came to working with workplaces, it was about weight loss and the physical aspect of the human. And I realized you can't separate any aspect of the human. We are body, we are soul, and we are mind. And when we enter the workplace, we enter as body, as soul, as
right.
mind. All of us enters that space, and all of us needs to be honored, and all of that needs to be safe as well. So I moved away from just focusing on weight loss, which is important to be physically healthy, but I started realizing, as somebody who's neurodivergent myself, who's been diagnosed with chronic depression and ADHD, that part of myself and that part of the person needs to be honored as well. So
Mm.
yes. So when it comes to employee wellness, I work in belonging and in mental wealth. Yeah,
Love it. And you're talking about the holistic perspective here, not just the one element. You're talking about body, soul, and mind.
correct.
So tell me a little bit about what's happening in corporate Namibia around
Okay.
employee well-being and psychological safety. Is it being taken seriously? Is there a battle? Is there a change? And if so, what?
Okay, so I'm not really one to mince words, but when it comes
Good.
to Namibia, it employee wellness is it's still an activity. It
Ooh.
is still a wellness day. It is
Mm.
still a employee wellness week. I feel that we haven't quite gotten to the point where it is deeply ingrained within the brick and the mortar of the workplace yet, which is where it really needs to be. Um, we still have people who are terrified of speaking up about burning out, who are terrified of
Right.
speaking up about their mental health when it isn't at peak performance. We still have a culture of people believing that they have to constantly be producing, constantly be at their best, and not understanding that your best can look different when you are encountering different things. There are people who are deeply grieving and white knuckling through it so that they can complete that spreadsheet and tick off their KPIs and
Right.
to show that purely because when I have spoken to employees one-on-one, they have said that when they do speak up, the treatment towards them changes. And no one wants that experience because it brings us back to where I started. Everybody wants to belong. And the
Mm,
second most people feel like they speak up, that they're going to lose that thing, which is belonging, which is
okay.
connection, which is community. And most people will do whatever it takes to fit in
Okay.
before, even if it means abandoning themselves in an effort to not stand out.
So it's that fear, the fear
Yes,
of being judged, the fear of being ostracized. Now you're speaking up, you're going to lose potentially you can't handle the stress, you're going to lose the promotion. So you end up by sucking it up and just battling along, and that leads you down that horrible slide to burnout.
yes. And maybe just to answer your question better,
Mm.
so I also do a lot of work in DEI, so diversity, equity, and inclusion. So beyond mental health, conversations around race, conversations around um, disabilities, conversations around gender. And when I asked one of the bigger corporates, and this is a banking institution, if I could see what their policy was around that, they did not have one.
Oh, wow.
And
Painful.
she
Yep.
was she was able to tell me on the side that, Hermien, this is in its infancy stages. Please don't ask us those things yet. Like, so even HR heads and HR practitioners within the workplace, it's still a rumble right now, which isn't a
Mm.
terrifying thing. It means that there is so much room and so much beautiful
Right.
work that can be
Can be done.
done. And the
Yes.
great thing is it can be done right, and it can be done laced, deeply laced with psychological safety. And I see more opportunity than I see barrenness.
So if I can understand this correctly, you're seeing that because there is this blank slate, there's an open table. They don't have the policies. They know they need them. Then somebody of your caliber, with the knowledge, with the understanding, with the practical, personal, felt story as well, is able to go in there and help them mold this to being the most beneficial programs, so that it's part of culture, and it's not, as you've said, just a wellness day, a wellness week, and it's an activity. It's now part of the organization. But here's the question: are these banking institutes, and it's just an example of many of any company, are they willing to embrace it and put money into it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
And here's the thing. I have said everything that I have said, and I've mentioned that there's so much work to be done. And I've mentioned the fact that corporate Namibia is possibly not doing enough.
Mm.
But the willingness to put money into it, the openness to have these conversations, absolutely. The appetite is huge. The appetite is huge. And we have to remember that corporate isn't a building, corporate is people too. And
Right.
these people, senior management, top management, they're rumbling too.
Yep.
And as much as we have to have grace for everyone in the chain, grace has to be there for the CEO and the head of wellness and the senior manager of grace needs to be extended there too, because big, beautiful, brave decisions need to be made at those levels too in order for it to filter down. And maybe just to go back to what you were saying is when it comes to me entering these spaces, so the work that I do is really the work of creating awareness. It is the work of giving the language and understanding for why this is important. It is, you know, it's almost as a lot of employees, because they cannot say things themselves, because they don't always feel psychologically safe enough to be able to say it. I feel that I'm able to say the unspeakable things to break
Mm.
the shame and be and yeah, to give voice, to give language, to give understanding to it, and then to collaborate with partners. I'm very, very big on collaboration. I am not entering anything believing that I'm going to change it and it's all going to be wonderful. What I do believe is I'm really good at striking a match.
Oh, I
And
like
then it's this group of us, which is, you know, psychologists and speakers and trainers and facilitators to then come in and we fan those flames together. And that is where I see the biggest transformation happen because I know where my strengths are and I know how I can give language to these
it.
experiences and I know where I can support corporates in supporting their employees, but I know how Tim can take that to the next level and how the next person comes in and really bring that policy to a place where it can. So I
So
hope I'm making
I love where you're going with this. You're talking about
sense.
you are that person who's coming in and normalizing the conversations, opening up
Yes.
and saying, it's okay to speak about this. It's okay to use these words. I'm stressed. I can't handle it. I'm burning out. I'm unhealthy. I'm not able to cope with the workload without feeling unsafe psychologically,
Yes.
mentally, physically, spiritually. But you're normalizing the conversation. So you're igniting it from underneath and saying, right, as you said, you talk plain and open. I love it. So do I. Straight out. Employee well-being is broken. Who's broken it? Is it the company? Is it the people at the top? Is it the
Yes.
government? Is it uh, employment equity? What is broken? Who has created this? Where's that block? Let's talk about it. Let's normalize it. Now it's in conversation in everyday life. Now we can start to build. And you're saying there's a base.
Yes.
I love it.
And you know what the beautiful thing is, Tim? Once we get to the now it's the time to build, sometimes I am not the person that is needed. And that is absolutely
Oh,
okay.
right.
Sometimes Team Wealthy is needed.
That's it.
Sometimes the blind spot is needed because they are the guys who sometimes it's Tim. And the beautiful thing is knowing how far or where in the process my work and my voice lies and
Brilliant.
understanding where it no longer does and being able to because the wellness facilitators, trainers, speakers, or just offerings that are available in not just Namibia, but in Southern Africa. It is so broad and it
Yes.
is so wide that there are people, then the right sniper can come in and work
Target.
and do the work that needs to be done.
Oh,
And and it's a process and it's ongoing. And the one thing I always tell corporate, whether it's a conversation around race or gender, there is no finish line.
correct.
you know it keeps on going and I believe that the work that I do is the work of accompaniment. It isn't the
Mm,
work of I'm not doing the work for anyone. It's accompaniment, and I know when to step in, how long to accompany for, and when to step out. And
amazing.
it's not always easy because sometimes you get so attached and you feel like, and as you see this transformation happen, you want to stay. And I think the most beautiful and professional decisions I've ever made is knowing when to no longer be in the room and
Right.
knowing who needs to be in the room
You're
and when.
igniting that conversation. And then you're saying, right, now you're
Correct.
talking about it. That's my expertise. There's another level. There's another level. And this is where different experts in their niche come in. So I've got one final question for you. I'm loving this conversation,
Yes.
by the way. And then I've one final. And I love this question. If you had that magic wand that you could ignite real action, real change in organizations, and you could go and have anything put into place, what would that be?
Oh, I have never been asked that question.
That's why I'm asking it.
If I had a magic wand, go into corporate spaces and have just one thing put into place, The first word that comes to mind is the word story. I
Mm.
just don't know how my wand and story connect together. But I do know that as much as we are hardwired for connection, we are hardwired for story. I think that my wand I would possibly use to help everybody understand within this any space that as we enter into the space, there's a story of me, there's a story of you, and that there is a story of us. And that if we can honor the very real lived experiences of each other and know that we're not experiencing this world the same. And as a result, we're not even experiencing the workplace the same. And we're not experiencing the team the same. And to have empathy and compassion for each other in that, I think I'd use my wand to somehow do that. I would just need to figure out how to do that with that wand of mine.
Take that question and run with it. There's something powerful in stories. It's your story that got you to where you are now and where you're focusing and the impact that you're making with people's lives. And broadening it further with creating that space of safety where everybody can share their story, because that adds, let's feed right back to the beginning, to connecting. People connect with stories, and to people feeling that they belong and that we're all on our own journey, and everybody believes that their problems are greater than everybody else's. But when you then start to see everybody else going, hang on a second, I thought you were, but now you're normal. You are a
Yes.
human. You are, and that connection.
We are human first, Tim. Thank
Love
you
it.
for taking everything that I said and bringing it together
Narrowing
so
it in.
easily.
There's something powerful in there. I'm going to encourage you to take that and run with it, because if you don't, I just might well.
And you should. We all should.
There we go.
Thank you so much,
Hermien
Tim. And
Elago,
thank
thank
for
you
this
so much.
conversation.
Blessed pleasure. Look forward to connecting with you. And thank you so much for your time. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks.